For human consumption.
I knew it would come in handy.
I know. The Bob comes into my office and steals it. Next thing I know, it's in a presentation. But there's Donald smashed in there. Okay, Bob.
Inside staterooms. Probably of all the staterooms on a cruise ship, the inside stateroom is probably the least desirable. Mainly because people want to look outside. And so what we did on this is we have 150 inside staterooms on the during Disney Fantasy. And so we got a bunch of engineers together, came up with an idea to pipe a video feed from the outside of the ship into your room. And so you see a porthole there. But because we're Disney and we want to do something a little more special than that, we want to have characters visit you while you're in the stateroom. And so we went through the Disney archives, Pixar archives, to come up with clips that we thought would work really well. And I've got a series of clips here we can share with you. Let's see how this works here. Which you can see here. And some of these work really well as is, but most of them we had to go in and we had to do a little reanimation to some of these. So I'd have to say that just about all of them are slightly adapted for this purpose. But we have a number of them that premiered with the Disney Dream. And what we did process-wise is we pull a lot of options out. We put them on a presentation board. We'd bring Joe in, and Joe would go through and we'd look at the ones that we think are the most positive in terms of the most fun for our guests in the room. And then, because we start with probably dozens and dozens of these. And then this is actually one of my favorites.
This is all original animation, by the way.
Yeah, this one's nice. So we're designing a whole new set for Disney Fantasy, so we'll have these as well as a bunch of new ones for Disney Fantasy. We refer to this as a Disney differentiator. And Joe talked about the aqueduct. You know, we're trying to find, we want to come up with ideas that are unique for the Disney Cruise Line, and also because we're Disney, we want to come up with the best ideas. And so I'm going to show you a little video clip here with some audio of another set of Disney differentiators that have proved to be very popular on the ship. It's called Enchanted Art, where artwork comes to life, and the Disney Adventure Midship Detective Agency, which is a adventure game that uses the Enchanted Art technology, incredibly popular on the Disney Dream. We're really, really happy with it, but here's a little clip with a couple of our fellow engineers that we'll talk about.
The Enchanted Art is a ship-wide art program where when you approach a piece of art that looks just like a still on the wall, it animates to life. You can sense you're there and animate for you. And every time you come back, you can see a different animation.
One of them is located in the atrium, where you'll see a painting of Peter Pan's Neverland Cove and some propping of the ship's wheel. When you go up to the ship's wheel, you'll start to turn the wheel and the painting comes to life. And now you're driving Captain Hook's ship and exploring Neverland Cove.
The Detective Adventure game takes advantage of the Enchanted Art, and it's something that we're excited about because we've never done it before. It's a game that you interact with by holding up a simple card. It's just a piece of paper, but actually on it is a 2D barcode that we can sense optically. So when you go up to a piece of Enchanted Art and hold up your card, something happens. And you'll find clues, and you'll find missing objects, and you can figure out who your villain is and save the day.
You found one! This puppy means we're on the villain's trail. Now, on to the next piece of art.
We mock these up. We go through the adventure in particular. I don't know how many play tests we did. Tens and tens and tens. We just want running through it, lots of it, and because we want to make sure that it plays right on the ship. And there's a lot of repeatability to the game. I talked earlier about the fact that our guests are staying with us for up to a week, and so we want to be able to put a lot of repeatability into the design so that you can play it numerous times and have different endings. And so, Joe, I think the next one is the kids.
Okay, I'm going to give you a quick tour of Okay, quick tour of the children's programming. As I mentioned earlier, back on the Magic and the Wonder, we kind of redefined what kids programming is all about. This, what you're going to see here, is a far cry from what I saw on the big red boat with Little Tykes play equipment in an old casino. This is actually on the Dream, we upped what we did on the Magic and the Wonder specifically for tweens and teens. Finding out that as a population on the ship, they needed their own spaces and their own dedicated spaces. So that's the teen space. This is the tween space. We work with the opera. We work very closely with our partners at Disney Cruise Line, especially after the 10 plus years of operational experience that they've got with the Magic and the Wonder, really understanding our guests, knowing who the guests are, what they want, especially with the teens and the tweens. Then this is where form follows function. We really have to make these spaces work for them in terms of the kinds of activities that they're going to have, the number of kids that are going to be in these spaces. This is another Disney differentiator. Bob, maybe you want to talk a little bit about this. This is our enchantment floor.
Magic play floor.
Magic play floor.
Basically, it's a video game on the floor, and you can play up to, I think 32 kids can play at a time. And it's, again, taking a different kind of take on a video game. And again, engaging a lot of the kids and the youth counselors. It's really popular. There's a lot of different levels, again, so you can play it throughout the cruise and have a lot of fun with it.
And we have two of these floors. Once, and we have the Oceaneers Club and the Oceaneers Lab. And the club is for the younger kids, labs for the older kids. Although they now kind of cross-utilize the spaces. Earlier on in the design process, back on the Magic and the Wonder, it was designed with two distinct age groups. What we found with families, a lot of the siblings want to stay together, and families want to stay together. And so this is one of those instances where our operator, Disney Cruise Line, understanding the audience, gave us some feedback and said, hey, help design these spaces now to be a little more flexible to allow different age groups. And speaking of different age groups and different appeal, we have our little fairies area for little girls, our monsters play area. This is really fun. It's a little walk through, crawl through, climb through thing. But without a doubt, the hit of the children's area has been Andy's room. We basically recreated Andy's room. You can see there a giant slinky dog you can crawl through. We've got a giant Mr. Potato Head in there. A real Mr. Potato Head. It was so cool. They made the nose and the ears and everything. They're out of the soft, squishy material, so it's a giant Mr. Potato Head. It's really fun. You can tell it doesn't take much to amuse me. And then up on deck 11 for the kids, kind of an extension of the kids' areas, they have their own wet play area, and it's Nemo's Reef. We basically took the Finding Nemo film and created it three-dimensionally. Here you can see Mr. Ray is a slide. How much fun is that? Look at that. Isn't that fun? Okay.
Walt Disney Theater, we'll just walk through this real quick. Walt Disney Theater is our main theater complex on the ship. It seats probably around 1,300 guests. Very elegant, Art Deco, 1930s, balcony seating. It's wonderful. We were very proud of the fact that we put on some world-class Broadway-style plays. We have Disney's Believe, which is the show that opened with the Disney Dream. And then we have Old Mickey's and a few of the other shows. So we're working on a new show for Fantasy. And it's a very popular place. We can show movies in there. The highlight, obviously, I think one of the highlights on our cruises are Pirates Night, where everybody dresses up as pirates, and you have a big pirate celebration, and it ends up with a pirate show on the top deck, and fireworks and everything, and it's just a great evening. Disney Cruise Line is the only ship that can do fireworks at sea, and so it's obviously a real highlight of anyone's cruise on there. It's a great shot, too.
Okay, on the bow of our ships, we have a signature character moment that we established back on the Magic and the Wonder. On the Magic, we have Goofy back there, painting the name of the ship on there. So we created that whole idea of characters, Disney characters working on the ship to write the name on the back of it. And then on the Dream we have, on the Wonder we have Donald and the Nephews. So we had a little bit of a competition. This was fun because we engaged some of our fellow artists at Disney Feature Animation. We actually engaged some of our friends over at Disney Consumer Products. In fact, this wonderful illustration is from one of the great artists over there, Scott Tilley. But actually it was Chris Runco, another Imagineer, who came up with the idea of doing. Actually, it was interesting. This one, you have the right idea. We threw out this idea of the competition. What characters should we put on the back of the Dream? And we had at least three of Sorcerer Mickey. We go, that nails it. That's what we got to do. Sorcerer Mickey. Mickey there, and then great artist, sculptor Scott Goddard there, sculpting the full-size one. And you really get a sense of how gigantic this is. I think it's one of the biggest Mickeys we've done. I think only the iconic statues that we're doing at the resorts down in Florida for the new animation suite are bigger than these. But this one's pretty monolithic. But just to give you a sense of how big the ship is, and I love the contrast. Then you finally see Mickey on the back of the ship. I remember the first time we walked into the shipyard and saw Mickey on there for the first time. Wow, it doesn't look that big anymore. Anyway, so we've come up with another new character that I can't tell you about for fantasy, but we'll be announcing him soon. Sorry, it to be that way. Okay.
I think we'll play change the subject here.
Yeah, go through Goofy Golf quickly.
Goofy Golf will go quick here. Goofy Golf, we have a 9-hole miniature golf course on the aft end of the ship, and it's themed after Goofy. Again, similar to theme park attractions, we come up with sketches of gags. And so here is a sketch of shooting ball through a sandcastle. The goofy way to play golf is not the best way to play golf. And so we've quickly discovered that. And so we did something very unique in this, and you can see the final hole here. Is we actually have 2 tees. We have the Goofy tee and we have the Max tee. Goofy always is going to take the toughest route to the hole. Max has got it all figured out, and so he's going to do it just right. So these kids are playing through the Max tee, but if you see where the Goofy tee is, you have to kind of bounce it off a shovel and kind of hit a couple of ricochets. So we throw a few gags in here. This is hole number 8, which is called Reading the Green. And so we have books and everything. And again, this is the original sketch. And then what we do is we actually engage a writer. Again, this is our attention to detail. We come up with funny names for the books, for the props. We have no idea what that mathematical equation is. We hope it doesn't mean anything. It's Goofy, he probably knows. But again, we had somebody write that all up. And then you can see how the whole finished here. Right? And this is, it was a lot of fun working on this show, on this project with Joe, just because I grew up spending a lot of time playing miniature golf with my dad. So it was just a lot of fun to be able to work on a miniature golf course design. I never thought I'd be able to do that.
For me, it was fun because I got to work on the 2 miniature golf courses down at Walt Disney World, Fantasia Gardens and Winter Summerland. So took some of the learnings from there and used them on the ship. Okay.